Yes, ma'am, we can see you. Kindly start.
Okay, we can start?
Yes, please.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to online Zumba session conducted by your very own school, Scholars Rosary School, Rohtak. So today we'll be doing a 20 minutes Zumba session, and with me to add in the session, I have a very super talented teacher from your school, Mr. Viren Chauhan. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining the session. Starting with the introduction of Zumba. Zumba is a dance fitness program, Latin-inspired, created by Beto Perez in 2001. A lady named Suchita Pal bought Zumba in India in 2012. And after 2012, Zumba has been popular in almost every city of India. So today we'll be seeing the different flavors, or I must say the different music and dance formats that are included in Zumba. The different dance formats like salsa, hip hop, merengue, cumbia, reggaeton, and many others across the world is incorporated in Zumba. What are the importance of Zumba? So basically, as it's a physical activity, obviously it will help you reduce weight. But what else? What else should motivate you all to join Zumba? So first and foremost thing, the negativity and the sad news that we are hearing every day in this lockdown. To keep all the negativity aside and bring all the positivity in, it's very important to keep the stress out. So Zumba helps you to go away all your stress hormones and make you happy. So for this 20 minutes, I want each one of you with the highest energy that you have in your body as in today, and that constant smile on your face throughout the session. So we are going to start the session now. I hope you enjoy the session.
Yeah. Unknown Brain. Marvin Devine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
I know that I gotta stay away from all your games, yeah. I know that I found somebody else to love me one day, yeah. You'll realize the grass ain't greener on the other side, no. You did me dirty for the last time, so now I gotta say goodbye. So now I gotta say
Yeah, my life is lovely now, I'm focused on me. You said you were about to die, I guess the car is on E. But see, I ain't even tripping, cause I just chose to believe that somebody gon' come around and give me just what I need. I don't wanna see you finding, see you looking down and out, coming to me crying, saying you miss having me around. Gave you chances and you blew it, you so easily influenced. All the times you told me beat it, now you gotta face the music. I'm saying
I know that I gotta stay away from all your games, yeah. I know that I found somebody else to love me one day, yeah. You'll realize the grass ain't greener on the other side, no. You did me dirty for the last time, so now I gotta say goodbye. So now I gotta say
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
Namaste, everyone. Hi, I hope you all are doing great. My name is Mitali. I'm a yoga teacher, and today I will be taking you through a post workout cool down yoga stretch. So, we had this really fun and energizing Zumba class, and although they did end with a few cool down stretches, I'm just going to elaborate a little bit more on cooling down the body and emphasize why cooling down after a workout is so important. So, whatever workout you are doing, whether you're going for a run, if it's Zumba, if it's aerobics, or any other sport that you're playing, it's really important to take the time out, at least for 5 or 10 minutes, to do a cool down stretch. That way you bring the body back to the heart rate, back to the normal breathing, and you bring the body back into a relaxed state. uh, so really important to take that time out for cooling down, and we're going to be doing some cool down yoga stretches today. So let's get started. We are going to start in a comfortable seated position. Keep the spine straight. And relax the shoulders down. Keep that neck nice and long. The facial muscles relaxed. The jaw soft. And now begin to tune in with your breath. Take a few slow, deep breaths in and out of the nostrils. As you breathe in, feel the belly and the chest filling up, expanding, lifting the ribs upward. And on the exhalation, feel the ribs softening down as you empty out completely. So take a few calm, relaxed, and steady breaths in this way. We'll maintain this steady flow of the breath throughout our practice. So let's start with some stretches in a seated position. We'll keep the hands down by the sides. Let's inhale and reach that right arm up. And as we exhale, we will sway the body to the left side, finding a nice stretch through the right side of the body, keeping the chin slightly lifted away from the chest and the neck nice and long, creating a diagonal line through the right side of the body. Keep breathing here. Come back, inhale and release, exhale. Let's switch sides. Left arm lifts up and exhale. Sway the body to the opposite direction, this time finding a nice deep stretch through the left. Let's come back, inhale, release, exhale. Inhale, circle ball, palms up. On the exhalation, twist to the right side. We'll bring the left palm down on the right knee and the right hand is at the back. Turn the right shoulder back. Look towards the right wall. And take a few slow and long breaths. Keep the spine straight. Twist a little deeper using those abdominal muscles. And on the inhale, we'll come back, lifting both arms up. And on the exhalation, let's twist to the opposite side. And keep your gaze at the left wall. Come back, inhale, reach both arms up. And exhale, circle the arms down, bring the fingers down. Now keep the fingers where they are. Drop your left ear to the left shoulder. Relaxing the face. We'll take the left palm to right ear and softly pull the ear away from the shoulder. Keep the right shoulder anchored down and feel a nice stretch here through the side of the neck. Keep breathing. Come back, inhale. Release, exhale. Take a big breath in, and on the next exhalation, we'll take the stretch to the other side, dropping right ear to right shoulder. And we'll take the right palm towards that left ear, creating a little more of a stretch through the side of the neck. Keep breathing. And slowly release. We'll bring the palms on the knees or on the thighs, and we'll do a few neck rotations. Drop the right ear to the right shoulder once again. And this time, make a big circular movement. Inhale. Drop the head back and exhale. Bring the left ear towards the left shoulder. Let's take a few more of these. Inhale as you lift up. Exhale as you come down. Keep going a few more times. Take as big circles as you can. Stretching out through those neck muscles. And one more, inhale. Exhale to release. Let's bring the neck back to a neutral position. Next, we're going to take a chest expansion. So we're going to take the hands at the back with the fingers pointing back. The fingers are pointing towards the back of the mat. The spine is straight. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, begin to walk the fingers back towards the back of the mat. Extend the arms and keep the spine lengthening. Make sure you are not rounding the spine or rounding the shoulders. Stay really lifted with the ribs lifted upward. Feel that chest expanding and pull the shoulder blades back towards the spine. Lift the chin up slightly to a comfortable point so that the neck, back of the neck, aligns with the back of the head. We're not dropping the head all the way back. We're just lifting up a little bit. Breathe deeply into the chest. pressing that chest upward, finding a lot of spaciousness through the chest. And let's exhale and come back. We will walk the hands forward this time. Plant the palms in front of you. Fingers are pointing forward. Press down through your sit bones. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, come down any amount that you can easily reach to reach your fingers forward and keep pressing the sit bones down. You can hold wherever you're comfortable, wherever your body tells you to stop. Just hold there. If you want to go all the way, you can come down, bringing the forehead down. Relax there. Taking some long and deep breaths. And let's lift up. From here, we're making our way onto hands and knees, coming into tabletop position for extended puppy stretch. So we're going to keep the hips directly stacked on top of the knees. And we will just begin to walk the hands forward. Fingers are reaching, arms are extending. Keep extending through the arms, lengthening through the whole upper body. Slowly, as you exhale, begin to bring the arms down and allow the chest to sink down towards the ground. You can let the chin rest on the ground. If this doesn't feel very comfortable, you can bring the forehead down. Holding there for a few breaths. And let's slowly lift up. Walk the hands back. We're making our way into downward facing dog. So press firmly into the palms, spread the fingers wide, tuck your toes and reach your hips upward towards the ceiling and heels downward. Look at the toes and just move a little, bending one knee at a time. We will inhale and take that right leg up. Kick the leg up as much as you can reach. And let's come forward. We'll step that right foot forward. We'll bring the left knee down on the mat. Coming up on fingertips. And just holding there in the lunge. Exhale, lift the chest. Let the hips sink, look forward. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, begin to walk the hands back and lift the toes off the ground. Press the heel into the mat. If you want to go a little further, you can slide your heel forward if you want a deeper stretch. Keep the spine straight. And once again, to go a little deeper, you can exhale and fold over the right leg. Breathing into those right hamstring muscles. And slowly come back. Slide that heel back. Bring the right foot back. Lift up. We will take a twist now. We'll take the left palm to the right thigh and exhale, reach that right arm back. Take a nice twist, turning the chest towards the right wall. Turning that right shoulder back as much as you can, still keeping a steady lunge. And let's come down. Bring the hands down. Let's go back into downward facing dog. Take a big breath in here. And now let's lift that left leg up. Float the left leg up as much as you can reach. Exhale, come forward. We'll do the same work on the other side. So right knee comes down, left knee sat on ankle. The fingers are down, sink low into the hips and look forward. Keep breathing. Take a big breath in, exhale, walk back. You'll walk the fingers back. As you do that, your left leg will straighten, the left knee will straighten. If you find tightness in the leg, you can keep a little bend in the knee. So it's not necessary to completely stretch out the left leg. And if you want to go a little further, slide your heel forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Breathing deeply into that stretch. And let's come back, slide the heel back, come back into lunge position. Bring your right palm on that left thigh. And this time we'll reach the left fingers back, finding a nice deep twist. Exhale, release, bring the hands down. And back into downward facing dog. Let's take one long breath here. Inhale. Exhale. We'll make our way down into a seat. So in any comfortable way, come and sit down. We'll extend that right leg forward, bringing the left foot on the inner right thigh. Keep the spine straight. Make sure once again that you are not rounding and leaning back, tilting the pelvis. Stay tall. Inhale, reach arms up. Lift the fingers, feel your ribs lifting upward. Keeping a straight spine, let's exhale and come down. You can hold on to your foot or your ankle. Breathing deeply into the back of the right leg. Come up, inhale. And let's switch sides. Same stretch on the other side. Inhale. Exhale and come down. Keep steady and soft breaths. Let's come back, inhale. Release, exhale. We're going to come and lay down on the back now. Final stretches on the back. So let's lay down. Feet are flat down on the ground. We'll extend that right leg. Hold on to the right thigh, at the back of the right thigh. And the toes are pointing back towards the back of the room. Toes are actively pointing back. Shoulders are relaxed. And we'll just flex and point the toes a few times. Make a few circles. Reverse the direction. And come back. Next, we are taking a hip stretch. We take the right ankle to the left thigh above the knee, and we're pressing the knee away, pointing the toes up. We'll take that right hand from the space in between both legs and the left arm around. You can either hold on to your shin or even the back of your thigh if that is more easily accessible. Relax your shoulders down completely. Pull that left thigh in, keep the tailbone down, breathing into that right outer hip. Exhale, slowly release. Let's take a spinal twist now. We'll take that left leg forward, extended in front. Bring the left palm to your right knee. We'll extend that right arm. And on the exhale, we will take a twist. You can take the gaze towards your right fingers. Breathing into the back, feeling that nice release. Come back, inhale. Release, exhale. Bring both feet down. Let's repeat all three stretches on the left side, pointing the toes back. Flex and point the toes a few times. And make a few circles. Go the opposite way. And let's take the left ankle to right thigh, just right above your knee, above your right knee. Press left knee away, point the left toes up, take hands around shin or back of the thigh. Make sure you're not tensing up your shoulders. Your shoulders should be pressing down into the mat. Soften the neck and the jaw. And slowly release. Now we will take the spinal twist on the other side. Let's take that the right palm to left knee. Left arm extends out to the side, and we will drop that knee towards the right. Turn the gaze, look at your left fingers. Breathing very deeply. Come back, inhale. Release, exhale. Let's take a short shavasana here. Arms and the legs falling out to the sides. Let the toes release outward. The shoulders drop down. Notice the movement in the belly as you breathe. The navel rising upward on the inhale and softening downward on the exhale. And with every exhalation, allow all the tiredness, all tension to completely drain out of the body. Sink a little deeper into the ground with each breath. Finding deeper relaxation and deeper stillness. Now take some time to move the body, make any small movements. You can move the neck, you can move the toes, the fingers. Bring the legs together. And let's take a big stretch. Give your body one final stretch, reaching fingers back and toes forward. And let's come back. Roll over to the right side. And very slowly, gradually lift yourself up, coming back into a seated position, a cross-legged seat. So we're going to end this session with some pranayam. And we will be practicing alternate nostril breathing. Alternate nostril breathing is also commonly known as Nari Shodhan Pranayam. So the name Nari Shodhan, Nari means the energy channels, and Shodhan means purification. So literally it means purification of the energy channels. The two main energy channels that this technique works on are the Ida and the Pingla Nari in the body, which is the right side and the left side. So the Ida is the left side of the body, which is connected to right brain, and it is responsible for having a cooling and calming effect in the body. The Pingla is the right side, which is connected with the left brain, and the Pingla is responsible for heating and activating the body. So at any given time, usually in human beings, we either have the Pingla overactivated or the Ida overactivated, and we want to create a balance, an equilibrium between both these energy channels, so that you can function optimally. If if the Pingla is overactivated, then you will be too active. There will be too much heat in the body, and you will not be able to rest the body. On the other side, if the Ida is activated, then it might be, then you might be prone to lethargy or sluggishness in the body. So let's just practice this breathing technique to bring equilibrium in the body. So let's start. We will start with we'll take the right thumb to the right nostril, and your last two fingers are pointing up, first two fingers are curled in. Block the right nostril. Inhale through the left. Block the left. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Block and exhale through the left. Again, inhale through the right, through the left nostril. Block the left and exhale through the right. Inhale through right. Block the right. Exhale through left. Inhale through left. block, and exhale through right. Again, inhale through right, block, and exhale through left. Drop the hand back. So in this way, you can practice. If you're a beginner, start with 8 to 10 rounds, and you can, as you gradually progress in the practice, you can do more rounds every day. So let's end our practice today with one long chant of Om together. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have enjoyed this short practice. I hope you all have a nice day. Thank you.
Dear viewers of our Wellness Week program, as we initiated our mission and vision of wellness of self and wellness of all, by fostering our endeavors and celebrating the International Yoga Day with you all on 21st June, and today counting all the blessings Lord has showered on us, we are on the 6th day of Wellness Webinar. And I, on behalf of the entire Scholars Rosary family, feel privileged to have the honorable presence of IPS Mr. Vivek Sharma, IGP Indore, Madhya Pradesh. Sir, you have been a great motivating force, not only for your own zone, Indore, but to the entire nation during this pandemic and unusual times. The quality of a leader is reflected in the standards they set for themselves. And IPS Mr. Vivek Sharma ji has definitely reflected the highest standards by showcasing his responsibility as a leader of his police team and his duty towards the nation. Since the outbreak of COVID pandemic, he has put his duty first and stayed away from his home and family, not for family, for 88 days, that is almost 3 months. Not only this, he has been keeping his police officers constantly motivated since they have been working day and night so that people like us can stay safe and stay inside our homes. So, for which I would like to show you a clip by seeing which I was moved to see his work and spirit.
एक दिन हो मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, नहीं डर किसी का आज एक दिन.
A true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. He does not set out to be a leader, but becomes one by the equality of his actions and integrity of his intent. We are truly humbled and honored to have you with us, sir, today. And also, we feel privileged and feel happy and glad to have the presence of his wife, Mrs. Shweta Sharma, also with us. We also have with us Ms. Kanchan Rai, a mental wellness coach and a founder of Let Us Talk. Her mission is to provide people with tools and strategies needed to overcome limiting beliefs and fears, to help people accomplish their goals and achieve success. Ms. Kanchan, I'm very grateful and indebted that you could spare some valuable time to address our parents, students, and teachers today. Let us together motivate ourselves with these forefront warriors of the unique times. And we would like to motivate ourselves by looking at one more this video.
चल के मिलेंगे साए बाहर के, रुक जाना नहीं तू कहीं हार के, कांटों पे चल के मिलेंगे साए बाहर के. ओ राही 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 ओ राही.
Ms. Nisha will now introduce our guest formally to the audience.
Good evening, dear audience. Today, I take this privilege to formally introduce our honorable guest to you, IPS Mr. Vivek Sharma ji. It is indeed a privilege for Scholars Rosary family to have amongst us IPS Mr. Vivek Sharma ji. It is indeed a privilege for Scholars Rosary family to extend a convivial welcome to our revered guest, IPS Mr. Vivek Sharma, Inspector General of Police, Indore Zone. Management and staff of Scholars Rosary Group of Institutions feel extremely honored by the august presence of our eminent guest, IPS Vivek Sharma ji, at the Wellness webinar today. And it is my privilege to introduce him to you today. IPS Mr. Vivek Sharma attained his bachelor's degree from IIT Bombay and his master's degree in finance with 99 percentile. During his tenure, he has stamped his imprints across the country as Additional SP Bhopal, Aide de Camp to Governor of Madhya Pradesh, Superintendent of Police in various districts at Madhya Pradesh and Haryana, Joint Commissioner of Police and DIG Gurugram, Inspector General CID Bhopal, Home Secretary to Government of Madhya Pradesh, Inspector General of Police Jabalpur Zone, and presently as the Inspector General of Police Indore Zone. IPS Mr. Vivek Sharma has been an inspirational performer throughout his training days, where he was honored as the only IPS officer to have topped the National Police Academy in both indoor and outdoor subjects. His resolution and commitment to the country has been embellished with various awards, and to name a few, Prime Minister's Baton, Home Minister's Revolver, IPS Association's Sword of Honor, Vice President's Trophy for Best Conduct, Cyber Corp of the Year, and President's Medal for Meritorious Service. We at Scholars Rosary feel honored with the benign presence of such an illustrious personality amongst us today. And we wholeheartedly thank you, sir, for sparing us few moments from your precious time. Now we request our revered guest, IPS Mr. Vivek Sharma ji, to address the audience.
Thanks a lot for such overplaced words. In fact, it's a matter of privilege for me. In year 2012 and 13, when I was Superintendent of Police in Rohtak, my child was the ward of this prestigious institution. So I always feel honored to be associated. Today I've been asked to speak on the COVID engagement. Okay, let me be bilingual. I've been told that there are a lot of audience there's a variety of audience. I'll be bilingual. I'll mix both Hindi and English. So basically, I will discuss how the COVID engagement evolved. Indore was one of the epicenters in the country, one of the hotspots. And in Madhya Pradesh, the maximum incidence was witnessed here. It all started in March end. Slowly it unfolded. Initially, there were a few cases, and there were intermittent spikes. The moment there was a spike in the number of positive cases, there was a lot of fear, and it was all pervasive. And people reacted very differently. There were instances where a positive person met with social boycott. He was ostracized, even manhandled in a couple of cases. There were one or two instances. In one instance, a medical team was attacked. Police team was also charged at. So we had a very varied kind of reaction to the initial instance of the disease. The challenges were very, very unprecedented. I'm talking of Indore city, which has 4,000 plus cases as we speak. The city has a population of over 25 lakhs, and the police force is 5,000 strong. So you can just see the ratio. The initial phase was of apprehension. A lot of apprehension was there amongst the public and also amongst the administration. People were apprehensive about how long will the lockdown last, whether their supplies would last or will they run out. Will the administration be able to provide door-to-door delivery to 25 lakh people as promised? And what if they don't? People were very concerned about their near and dear ones who were stranded in various parts of the country. And all this apprehension, all this concern was very justified, logically justified. It was natural to be perturbed. There were so many rumors floating around about the virus. Since last 3 months, we've been seeing everything in the media starts and ends with COVID. So there was a lot of negativity around. Initially, there didn't appear any ray of hope. This was one set of people we had to address, and others were we in the administration. I limited to the police, to the organization I belong. Police is the major enforcer of internal law and order. So we had to keep people indoors. We had to quarantine those containment zones, see that nobody comes out, simultaneously ensure that the necessary supplies are provided, see that the people who have been infected, who have turned positive, they are extracted amicably. The primary contacts are placed under home, and initially they were placed under institutional quarantine. We had to man the traffic chorahas, install pickets, do mobile patrolling, ensure that the people who go to deliver public supplies are not either robbed or mobbed. We had to guard the hospitals. There had been instances, we came across instances where people misbehaved with doctors within the hospitals. Positive people, they ran out of hospitals, spreading the infection. And those who believed that Indore was more infected than other cities even tried to flee during the late hours. So this was an engagement totally unforeseen and a very, very long engagement. We have been enforcing during my several stints. I personally have enforced curfews in cases of severe breakdown of law and order. But then those were very temporary kind of stretching for 2-3 days and then opening up not to be closed again kind of engagements. But here it has been more than 3 months now. 3 months of non-stop engagement. One was how to sustain for so long without any holidays, without any breaks. And second is how to keep ourselves safe, how to keep ourselves free of infection, how to minimize our exposure. It was indeed a huge challenge in the initial days. when we didn't have sufficient numbers of PPE kits, masks, sanitizers, what all bare minimum was required to protect ourselves? How do we depute our guys in the areas which are so infested with the virus? So it was a big challenge to keep police force up and running. So one was how to allay the fears which were germinating in the minds of people, how to reach out to them, how to dispel rumors, how to provide a platform wherein people could get authorized information, how to provide them supplies, how to differentiate between people who need more and who need less, how to go amongst people and ask them to subject themselves to medical screening. Because initially, whosoever tested positive was taken to the hospital. And with all kinds of rumors floating around, it was not an easy affair. I've already told you we were 5,000 manning 25 lakhs. So it required a lot of planning and a lot of iron will. I'll briefly explain how we went about it. We needed two things. Most importantly, the mask and the sanitizers. PP kits were limited, but PP kits were not required at all points of duty, but masks we definitely needed. We found that some of the young girls who had recently been recruited to the police department, they knew stitching. They made over 25,000 masks. Day, night, 24 hours. They were stitching, and only stitching. The one I'm wearing is, they have made it. We made sanitizers out of alcohol. We contacted the distillery guys, they gave us alcohol, and we made sanitizer out of that locally. Since we were deployed in the streets and we could act as vectors for our families back home, I decided that we will not go back home till this is over. Because when we go back home, we'll certainly be carrying back a fear that we may have them infected. A person down, doesn't, discount our force by one. There are people who get engaged to look after him. It's just like a wounded soldier vis-a-vis a dead soldier. A wounded soldier engages more. So I hired 82 hotels, marriage halls across the city to house our officers and men who chose to be part of this scheme that I named it as घर नहीं जाएंगे, अपनों को अपने से बचाएं. So I still remember 25th March was the last I saw my family and started living away in Officers Nest, 4 kilometers away. It has been 94 days since then. I've not seen my wife, not seen my son, not seen my father-in-law. And like me, several other officers are following this. Till now, 63 of my officers have got infected, but only 3 of the families got infected. Only 3. And those 3 were living with over 2,000 men who were staying away. So this was one big thing which we successfully did. We minimized our chances of getting infected, and we also saw to it that our families don't get infected through us, because they were already living in police lines in a secured environment. We had ensured door-to-door delivery over there. Because you see, senior officers, they have a lot of support staff. We have big houses to live in. We can always maintain distance from our families, but our constables, our cutting edge, they live in small houses. When they go back home, they don't have the luxury of staying in a different room or using a different washroom. So they had no option. Willy-nilly, they would infect. So now, one part of the problem was to keep them away. But the other part is what happens to the welfare of their families. They are the bread earners. They are not only the bread earners, they bring back bread. When they go back from duty, they fetch vegetables and go back home. Their old parents and their wives, they cannot. So we started all these things, door-to-door delivery in the police lines. We appointed officers so that the men who are giving their 24 hours to policing, they don't have to worry about the welfare of their family. So this was one part of it, how to protect ourselves, how to protect our families, how to protect our families from us. So given the scale of positive cases in the city, we perhaps have the minimum number of people and family coupled together who got infected. Then we augmented our force, supplemented it by drawing in the home guards, the people from forest and excise department, because they are also in uniform. Then most importantly, the public volunteers, the people of Gram and Nagar Raksha Samiti. We gave a call and almost 1,500 of them, they came. We declared them as special police officers. We gave them badges. And those young lords, they were always there with us day and night. And they were supplementing us with full energy. We made arrangements for their stay, gave them food, distributed small goodies, acknowledged their services. Then, to reduce our engagement, manual engagement, we brought in technology. We created a very intensive grid of CCTVs coupled with loudspeakers. You must have seen CCTVs, but this time we coupled it with loudspeakers. Initially, we created a web of CCTVs, but then we realized if we see anybody violating, coming out of the houses, or we see any crowd gathering, then our PCR van, the mobile patrol, had to reach that spot to address the situation. But once we planted loudspeakers from one room remotely, we used to announce, like, इस गली में ये खड़े हैं, पीली शर्ट वाले खड़े हैं, ये चले जाएं. They used to move. So that was a very helpful system, and we created a grid, CCTV coupled with a loudspeaker. Then such small locations, all these CCTVs were coupled and a hub was created locally. Then how to see it centrally? In normal times, people would use the service providers, BSNL, Jio, their backbone would be used. But these were not very readily available. So what I did was I found out that the local cable guy, he has a big fiber optic backbone throughout the city, which had a large spareable bandwidth. The next thing we needed were media converters and switches. Luckily, we found them too. In a record time of 3 days, using the backbone network, the fiber optic network of the local cable operator, we brought 1,000 cameras centrally to our control room and also mirrored that to my place of residence. So even during late night, early morning, I could see from my desktop what is happening where, especially in the containment zones. We deployed a lot of drones to capture people who thought they were out of police eye. To dispel rumors, we launched an app, we launched a feature where people could report instances, they could upload the messages which were spreading false notions. Those people were arrested also. Some people were counseled too. So technology was brought in to reduce our dependence on manpower. So as we proceeded, we had to revise our strategy also. We barricaded a few areas. Initially, we made big containment zones. Imagine a size of a colony in Rohtak, which has 4 exits, and we blocked 4 exits. And we are standing on the 4 exits. Say, model town area. So police is standing on the exits. But police doesn't know much what is happening inside. So we revised it. We started making small containment zones. If there has been an instance of a positive person in a particular house, we will block that small street, maybe 3 houses this side, 3 houses that side, so that what is happening inside is visible. Initially, we put people in institutional quarantine. We realized later, so like this institutional quarantine facility was something like, say, a hostel, which has rooms, a common room, something like this, and the police guard is sitting on the door, ignorant of what is happening inside. It is something what happens in a class without a teacher. So the viral load increased because even if there were 1 or 2 positives, they would spread it to everyone. We realized that this strategy is being counterproductive. Scrap that. Then we insisted on home quarantine, which was a difficult thing to do. Because so many people, we don't have so many policemen. So what to do? We geofence them. We told if you move out, your mobile has to have this app And if you move out, obviously, there are people who would not carry it. But then this was one of the strategies we devised, and it was successful to a great extent. So then we came across another problem. Several of us had got infected, but we were not disclosing. One, because we were so much engrossed into our duty that we thought that if we move out of the scene, then probably this particular set of responsibilities would not be catered to. Second was, we overtrusted our immunity. Third was, we didn't diagnose it properly. So we came across policemen who were infected, but who reported late. And when we had them admitted, their lungs X-ray or CT all came white. And we had to work very, very hard to salvage the situation. So we made buddy pairs. We named them as Swast Sakha or Sakhi. So every constable or a head constable or an ASI would have a counterpart. And it is the buddy's responsibility to look after the counterpart. If there is any ILI, say sore throat, fever, running nose, any influenza-like illness which the buddy manifests, then it is his counterpart's duty to report it to the senior officer. So this helped a lot. I would suggest that we do it in our own social circle too. Because, trust me, I've seen this disease. I've talked to each and every of my man who has fallen sick. I've spoken to a lot of people. I've visited hospital. I've seen umpteen number of positive cases, spoken to a lot of doctors. Unless you have severe comorbidities, this disease is not very lethal, provided we detect it early. We don't leave anything to chance. The moment we develop, it is better to err on the side of caution. The tests may give false negatives because it depends on how good the sampling has been. And still, with a good sample, there is a possibility that there may be a false negative. Best thing is to get your X-ray done. 80% of the people would be asymptomatic positive. All will not require hospitalization. But simultaneously, if you get infected and your immunity is not able to take it, then this disease develops very fast. The situation deteriorates very fast after 5 to 6 days. Within 2-3 days, the way it acquires your respiratory system, the speed with it your health goes down, it really lands you up in a lot of mess. So the thing is to see whosoever is manifesting these symptoms and to take him to the healthcare. So these buddy pairs, they helped us a lot. Then daily, we started 11 o'clock engagement on wireless set. They have shown a video. The program is named Geet Hum Gayenge, Corona Tumhe Haraye. So there, every day at 11 o'clock, one of our persons, either he may be a constable or I started myself on 12th of April. And since then, it has been more than 2 months now, 2.5 months today. Every day, one person, he recites either a poem, a self-written poem, or he sings a song. It is not meant for a musical, not meant to be a musical pleasure, but it is meant to communicate that we are on the same frequency. We are all resonating on the same wavelength. 11 o'clock, we motivate each other. You saw one video also. This was also one of the, this was on 12th of May, and we completed 1 month of the program. In the morning, it's an open session. Anybody can air. Even a constable has an access to the DIG, the IG. He can air his individual or collective problems. He has the bandwidth to suggest or to correct course, because it's not one, it is we together who would either succeed or fail. So we motivate each other, and we could come up with several good practices because we all applied ourselves for perhaps the first time and for perhaps the longest duration ever. So when we were asked to talk to people, because we found that the media reports were what will happen to the economy. So many people were concerned about, what happens when we unlock. What will happen to our jobs? What will happen to our businesses? The biggest gift is to be alive. What will you do with 400% profit if you are not left at the end of the day? Where will it go to? Whom will it go to? This lockdown gave several of us who spend time with their families an opportunity to spend time with their elders, which perhaps had not been happening for several years. So busy in the rat race. And from morning to late evening, we are out on jobs, and we come back, we bring our jobs back to our families. Or we are always engaged on our mobile devices. When was it that we last sat with them and remembered the old days? When was it that we gave time to our children? That we realized that they have their different set of needs. A lot of things have changed. Children now know without we telling them. They have their own set of energy, own ideas, own aspirations. They need our guidance. They need course correction. When was it that we appreciated the role of the homemaker, the partner who always is thinking about how to make things better? So, if you see, the balance sheet has not been entirely negative. We have got sufficient rest. It's like the computer which reboots and it starts with fresh energy, a new speed. So it is the way how you look at it. I'm particularly talking in reference to the children who will see new platforms now, the virtual ones. Earlier, we used to travel for 10 hours, meet a person or a set of people for 1 or 2 hours and come back. Now it's all happening on the web. So we have learned to be efficient. Challenges always come with opportunity. So all the young people who are viewing this, even the people who think they have lost a year, 1 year is nothing. Even if you do lose, if you think that this was something you had set out for yourself, and probably this may not go as per plan, then also, so what? The amount of potion we have consumed over last kada and everything, chavanprash, probably has made us better from inside. There's no doubt that we have lost several precious lives, but maybe because of this immunity boost, we will prevent several in the days ahead. Environment has got lots cleaner. A lot of accident deaths were averted because there was no traffic. So it was a challenge unprecedented, but then it had a lot of learning experience. A lot of leadership came from within people whom we never expected that they had such kind of talent. I mentioned about that program, Geetam Gaenge, Corona Bhag Tumhe Harayenge. When I hear my constables reciting poems, self-written ones, I'm amazed to see what kind of talent they have, the depth of their thinking. Otherwise, most of the people, they used to think that constable is only meant to wield his stick. He perhaps is not so learned. For me, too, after having spent 22 years, it was an eye-opener. So much of talent, energy. Only thing required is it needs to be oriented and harnessed. Other thing which I learned out of it was that we must practice what we preach. Speaking the truth is the most difficult thing, but then also solution to most of the problems. In context of Corona also, it is very, very important. our officers, had they not led from the front, our cutting edge would not have followed. They would have said, sir, bolte to aisa hai, karte aise hain, hum kyun kare? When they see their supervisors actually standing with them, then only do they trust you. It is not some reward or some kind of cajoling that helps. They see whether do you have it in you or not. So this is perhaps the best way to make people follow. First you do it, then you ask others to follow. Speaking the truth, it's about basically, if you have symptoms, you tell and you report. Don't hide, because then you may spread. If you have food, if you have stock in your house, don't take the free food packets, because they may be meant for someone else. And then treat as every opportunity every challenge as an opportunity. It all boils down to how differently you can have a workaround, because that is the differentiator. And in the days ahead, there are only two tools which will help you win over this war. One is your discipline. Second is your patience. Discipline in the sense that whatever is prescribed, whatever you decided, it should be followed. And patience, wait for your turn. If you're going to a bank, you see there's a crowd, you can come later. Going to a ration shop, allow the old ones, the elderly people to first come, allow ladies to come, children to come first, and then wait for your turn. Have patience. So this was in the nutshell what I wanted to share with you regarding Corona. So I would welcome if there are any questions from the other side.
Thank you so much, sir. Your words were quite inspiring, and I'm sure everyone present here must have gained a lot from it. And we have gained the strength actually to fight against this pandemic in this difficult time. Thank you so much, sir, for that session. And now we have our students and parents who are eager to ask certain questions from you. So we begin with our question answer session. And first we have Gauri Dua. She would like to ask a question from you, sir.
A very good evening, sir. It is a great pleasure to have you here. My name is Gauri Dua, and my question for you is, how was India's policy in handling COVID different from other countries? Could India's stringent COVID-19 lockdown actually achieve something or just delayed the curve?
Okay, Gauri. See, India is a different country. We have a very big denominator. We have overwhelming rural population. We don't have any media to reach out to our entire population. Then our health system is also not that robust. So India did need a lockdown. I feel we didn't have any alternative to a lockdown, to a stringent lockdown. Why? Because this disease was not known how it will behave. Initially, people were thinking that Indians have a much better immunity, we have higher temperatures, we don't have air conditioned environments everywhere. So, the impact of the disease would not be that much. There were several misnomers. We didn't have that many hospital beds with oxygen available. We didn't have PPE kits. We didn't have so many medicines which were there distributed all over to cater to such a large population. At least what medicines are to be given, this needed to be evolved. This had to evolve. So lockdown definitely gave us a breathing space. It helped us to boost our health system, to boost our immunity also, to know what symptoms are there, because symptoms are evolving as we speak, to decide and prioritize our strategy. It gave us time to experiment. It gave us time to reinvent, hit and try. Had we not enforced the lockdown, we would have so much of incidents everywhere that we would have landed in a panic situation. We would not have had time to install a public delivery system. Infected people would have moved around and infected several others. So the lockdown was inevitable. It has slowed the rate of infection in the initial days, which was very, very required. Now people after 2.5, 3 months, they know what are the symptoms. They know that 80% would be asymptomatic. We had not known all these things beforehand. So 80% will be asymptomatic or mildly symptomatic, who will get cured themselves, who do not require to occupy hospital beds. That we need to leave hospital beds for people who have comorbidities, who are old, or whose presentation when they report to the hospital is bad. So lockdown was definitely called for, and we are in definitely a much better position today because of the lockdown. Definitely it has impacted us adversely on the economic front, but then what would you do? As I told you early, what would you do with profit if you are not there to reap it?
Thank you, sir. It has really helped me to understand the situation. Thank you so much.
So next question is coming from Varid Munjal.
Good evening, sir. My name is Varid Munjal. And so, first of all, a big salute to you, sir, our police army and whole police department, which is working day and night so that we can be safe at our home, sir, from COVID-19. And, sir, it is a very great pleasure talking to you, sir. Sir, a big salute to you, sir. Sir, my question is, sir, police is in forefront today to prevent the spread of COVID-19. So, was such a duty foreseen for the police force?
That at least the frontline workers in Indore have been able to navigate through the fear of corona. And this is the quintessential requirement of if we want to win over in any battle. So I'm sure that in the days ahead, we will see that this fear will vanish in the masses also. And they would know that this is the best they can do to prevent themselves from getting infected. And this is the protocol they are supposed to follow if they get infected. If we religiously follow this, then probably percentage wise, we will have the least mortality in the world.
Thank you so much, sir. I think that solves the query of Bharat. And next we have one of our parents, Dr. Sanket Vij. He would like to ask a question from you.
Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar,
sir.
Namaskar.
I'm Sanket Vij and I'm serving as a professor in one of the state university of Haryana. Please accept my gratitude for your thought-provoking deliberations and enlightening us. And definitely it will guide us for betterment of our health and other activities. Sir, I have an observation that during this situation of crisis, we have observed that the perception of the general public towards police personals as well as police as an institution has been remarkably changed. What do you feel that what were the factors behind that remarkable transformation, and whether you feel that the police as an institution will be able to sustain it?
Thanks a lot, Sanketji. In fact, the biggest dividend of this entire engagement has been that we could earn the goodwill of people. Initially, when I addressed my men, I said, COP.
Sure.
COP is what we are called by in Western countries. I said, you take COP as an acronym for Corona Police. You have to first see how you are supposed to behave in these times. The person on the other side of the fence, behind the barricade, is not a criminal. He has come out of his house because he has pressing needs. So your behavior should be strict yet understanding. You have to be compassionate. Don't beat them up. It's not to say that we didn't beat anyone, but to a great extent, they could understand that here we don't need to beat anyone. We made them do the violators, we made them do sit-ups. We made them do social duty. If we used to catch people coming out, we used to bring them with us. Now you will stop vehicle, you will ask for papers, you will stand with us in sun for 2 hours. Then only would you realize how tough policing is. We got videos made where people who had come out, they were apologizing, and these videos were uploaded to all their social groups. So basically, I always say that every policeman is a citizen in uniform. And similarly, every citizen needed to be a policeman without uniform. They needed to police their localities. They needed, most importantly, they needed to police themselves. Whatever instructions the administration has passed, they had to abide by them. So they needed to be a cop for themselves. Police during these times was seen into roles which people had never thought of. We were distributing food, medicines. We took people to hospital. We gave slippers to a lot of migrant people. who were walking barefoot during those sunny days. So we have been successful in breaking ice with public, in making people believe that police is also a service. So, and this has been possible because of each and every man, my cutting edge, who's been on the street. I used to tell them that when you go back to your hotels, to your rooms, when you lie down before you sign off for the day, there should be a smile on your face. And that would be out of the good work you have done. And you should feel blessed that you had the opportunity of serving during such difficult times in one of the most infested areas in the country. You must feel blessed, and you should sleep when you go to sleep and have a smile on your face that today I did something good, which I couldn't do in my 30 years of service. And several of my men, they say, the kind of connect we have made, सर हम इतने साल की नौकरी में नहीं बना पाए, इतने साल में लोगों का दिल नहीं जीत पाए, काम हमने बहुत किया, पर पहली बार लोगों ने देखा कि चौराहे खाली हैं पर फिर भी पुलिस खड़ी है, पहली बार पुलिस को कुछ देते देखा. So I am ready. In the days ahead, we will definitely reap the goodwill we have generated, and we would provide with, see, if people associate with us, a lot of our problems get resolved. And if you have faith, then it breeds further faith. If people come to the police station with certain set prototype kind of image, with stereotypical thoughts which come after watching so many movies and after a lot of hearsay which goes around about police, so you would not develop a chord which is required. But I'm happy that in these times we got an opportunity and we availed it well, and we could earn a lot of confidence, a lot of trust of the people we serve.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Today we are honored by the presence of another guest speaker, sir. Miss Kanchan Rai is there with us. She is a mental health coach. She would also like to ask a question from you, sir.
Namaste, sir. First of all, I would really like to congratulate you because आप लोगों ने जिस तरीके से काम किया है, आप लोगों को जो title मिला है Corona Warrior is absolutely a desirable one. So, sir, if I have to ask a question with you, it will be related to my subject only because I work in and out with patients and people suffering from mental health, which has been a very important issue these days. So being in a field you are and trying to motivate your people by singing the songs and trying to create an awareness about the whole scenario to a whole city is not an easy task. And especially if you have to stay away from your family for a very long time, it's again a very difficult thing to follow. Sir, I would like to understand what has been your motivation or what has been your positive push to do all these things. I would like to know as a person, not, a person who is representing a whole system or a whole bureaucracy, but you as a person, how do you motivate yourself and keep yourself always in a positive spirits?
See, motivation, आपने मुझे motivation के बारे में बोला. It is not that I am motivating. We are motivating each other. In an organization, in a setup like this and in such times, it is not one person who can motivate. It is like we have to act like buddies, do each other's hand holding. And thinking positive is the first step towards it. The problem is when we are not engaged in a worthwhile fashion, then negativity creeps in. Then all sort of thoughts start running. What if this? What if this? What if this? So you have to think positive, number one. Number two, as I said, treat challenge as opportunity. You don't think about what it has taken away from us. You just think about what it has given us. When I was joining the show, I listened to some wonderful lines. Count your blessings and feel them one by one. So you must always thank God for what He has given to you. He has given you this opportunity to serve. This is what I told my men. And this is what they tell to each other. And, there has been a very, very, the perception of police has flipped. This is also very inspiring. When people say कि साहब हम तो सोचते थे पुलिस ऐसा करती है वैसा करती है, पुलिस तो सिर्फ यही कर सकती है, पुलिस ये नहीं कर सकती. So this is a chain reaction. Media also appreciate it. So I would say mentally we have to get this corona out of our mind first. The fear of corona. Corona से ज़्यादा खतरनाक कोरोना का भय है. So like I told, songs, yes, they do motivate. मैं बोला था कि सुर से इस असुर का नाश करना. Not that music is gonna kill it, but definitely when it will twine us together as a team, then collectively we would be able to win.
Right. Thank you so much for a wonderful insight. Thank you.
Usually we see, the doctors and nurses as warriors. But today, looking at you closely, the work of a police and police force, we could know how police and police force are acting as warriors, and the credit goes to you and the significant role you are playing for our community. Thank you so much. And my question also lastly to you, Bhaiya. The warriors on the forefront are not alone. Their each family member is a warrior too. And you and your family has been a true example. You have motivated so many people around you, positive energy and musical numbers. And I request you to give us also one tagline or musical slogan to remember during these times, so that we remember your, visit with us today and your association with us today during these important times.
I would say, let us widen the definition of family. I agree with you entirely. The support I got from my family, my wife, my son, my father, my parents, my dog, he's a stress buster. So without their support, I would not have survived, because they were there always telling me, you needn't worry about us, we'll take care of ourselves. Do take care of your health. And pinging me whether you have taken kadha, whether you have taken this, why are you wearing this mask, why don't you wear N95? I said, this is what my girls have made it for us. And if I don't wear this, what will my constable say? That he's giving me this and he's wearing N95. This is quite safe, quite safe. So I have to use my product. Then only would I be able to sell my product. So my few words would be like, let us widen the definition of family. Family is not your blood relations. Family is your society. Family is your state, your country, the humankind at large. So treat them as your family, and the world would be a much better place to live in. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was indeed very inspiring to have a session from you, to have your words, and during this unprecedented times, definitely it is going to help us gain the strength, fight against this COVID-19. Thank you so much, sir. And on behalf of Scholars Rosary family, I extend a heartfelt gratitude to IPS Mr. Vivek Sharma and his better half, Ms. Shweta Sharma, for being a part of our webinar. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Mental health encompasses our psychological, emotional, and social well-being. So it becomes necessary to take care of our mental health, because what we achieve inwardly will change our reality. And today we feel graced by the presence of another guest speaker, Ms. Kanchan Rai amongst us. And I have the privilege to introduce our guest to everyone today. Ms. Kanchan Rai is a licensed mental wellness coach who teaches ways of overcoming failure and mental disability. She's a graduate of Harvard Business School and a specialist in leadership development and authentic leadership. Through her mental wellness teaching and coaching, Ms. Kanchan wants to help people discover themselves, close the gap between where they are now in life and where they want to be, learn the law of attraction and how to implement it, discover the money management system that successful, wealthy people use, and most importantly, master the powerful skills of marketing. So we have the honor of listening to Ms. Kanchan Rai, and I would request her to start with the wellness session.
Hello, everyone. It has been really a great privilege to be here and part of Young Mind, especially because this is the area, or this is an audience which I would always like to work upon, because I feel if we can actually create a mind, or we can actually nurture a mind at this stage, we can create wonders for our whole society as well. So now coming to a topic which is called mental health, I am sure this has been a very common topic discussed in each and every house these days. So I do not need to explain about how and what is importance of mental health. I would just like to share one simple thing that, which would actually help you to come out of a shell and speak up and to be more, to be more interactive enough. So this, first of all, is not a kind of illness which we are talking about. What we are talking about is wellness. So please be sure that there is a very huge difference being ill and being well, right? So what we are going to talk and work upon is a wellness part rather than illness part. So we always try to focus upon positive part rather than negative part. So yeah, this is what I wanted to convey. And the second point which I want to say is about, please be vocal. Please try to express yourself. Even a small thing which is very unusual, or which you are finding very unusual in your behavior or behavior whom you are living with, has to be taken care and has to be brought in light, no matter how small or big the thing is. Yeah.
Thank you. Then, yeah. Shall we go ahead with the question and answers?
Yeah.
Yes, sorry, I was disconnected on the audio mode. We start with our question answer session, and our first question is coming from Ada.
First of all, ma'am, it is a great honor to meet you and talk to you. So, my name is Ada, and my question is, how can I use distraction to manage difficult thoughts and feeling of depression in nowadays?
Hello, Ada. I lovely hearing from you. So your question is, how do you? Can you please repeat your question again?
Sure, ma'am. How can I use some different kind of distraction to manage difficult thoughts or feeling of depression?
See, first of all, you have to be very careful about your thoughts. Like if you are having a thought which is very depressive, please don't try to suppress it. You have to be very, very careful with what is making you feel depressed, or what is the cause, or what is the trigger which is actually suppressing you or depressing you, or which is taking you to a zone which is not a happy zone, or which is not a very good zone to be in. So first of all, you figure it out, and then you have to figure out about the triggers, what is triggering you. And once you find the trigger, try to stay away from the trigger. That is the best thing which you can do. And it's like a very human nature of us. We can't be in a happy zone, or we can't be in a positive zone throughout the day. So we have not to worry about getting into a zone which is not very happy zone for a very longer period of time, because if it's for a shorter period of time, it's just a phase which will which will pass on its own. But if it's not passing, then you have to be very careful, and you try to be vocal. Like you try to figure out what is actually bothering you. If you are not able to share out, if you are not able to speak out, please write it down. And then you have to search within yourself if it's really helping you out. If no, then try to seek help of your parents, try to seek help of your teacher, or you must be having a counselor in your school. Try to reach out them and then discuss with them, and then you will be in a place where you can easily manage it up.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, next question is coming from one of our parents, Dr. Mayanka Batra.
Yes, please.
Hello, good evening, ma'am. Hello, good
Hello,
evening.
Mayanka.
I am Dr. Mayanka Batra, practicing as a dermatologist and aesthetic cosmetologist. My question is this about the media and virus. Media is a very powerful force today, nowadays. Media has a very powerful role in each and every way. Do you think that media is a solace or ground for this discrimination, misinformation, and which one is stronger nowadays? The media, even when I was watching the TV during the lockdown period, every time it is Corona and death, Corona and death, Corona and death is going on. So I think it will also cause a suppressing. And in the previous lecture that Mr. Vivek Sharma, the IPS officer, he already told us कि कोरोना से ज्यादा खतरनाक कोरोना का बह है. So media has a role in motivating this corona ka beh, or what do you think, and what is your opinion about this?
See, in my opinion, everything in excess is actually harmful, whether it be corona ka bhai, whether it be media, or whether it be corona itself.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful, and you have to be very thoughtful what you are letting inside your brain. So, if we talk about media and all, that is their job. They are performing their duty because they have to work. That is their bread and butter. You don't have to get too much into it. You have to be very careful what you are letting, what information you are letting into your mind. There, if you will see one thing which is continuously being telecasted or broadcasted on any channel, that is definitely going to hinder you. But at the same time, if you will be very conscious enough, like I have to be on television, or I have to see media for this particular time, until and unless I'm getting information out of it, until and unless I am being updated what is happening around me, that is all fine. But the moment you feel that this thing is overtaking, and rather getting something positive out of it, it is creating a havoc inside you, or it is creating a negative impact inside you, then you have to take a decision. You have to be very careful that how long, and what is limit, and what is the capacity of your brain to gather information from one particular channel or one particular segment where these things are being displaced. So choice is yours. You have to be absolutely careful, and you have to actually train your mind that whatever you are gathering from there is just an information which I have to update myself, because whatever is shown there is not reality. We all know that, right? There are things which are actually being exaggerated, which are sometimes being stretched to a limit where it started hindering your mind, or where they start playing with your brain. So we have to be mentally very strong that these things don't play with your brain, and how well we can get something which is useful for us. So please be sure, everything in excess is harmful, whether it be TV, whether it be media, whether it be news. You have to be very careful.
Thank you, Kanchan, that you told us one should not play with this media and one should not play according to that. But how one should deal with this disturbing information? Because many of these in this lockdown, they are going to in the depressed situations. Then how should one deal with this
Right.
disturbing informations?
See, the same thing was actually advised by our previous guest as well. So what sir said was very true. You have to think positive about whatever is happening around you. So if we'll talk about information which we are gathering, it is useful. Definitely, we are being aware, we are being updated what is happening near to us. And that is giving us a chance to understand and react in a way which is very helpful and which is very positive for us. But that doesn't mean that we'll be dragged into that particular situation or that particular piece of information which will take the peace which we are already having. So we have to define a very clear line, what is giving us peace, what is not. I understand whatever is happening nearby us, or the situation, or the the circumstances where we are right now are not very positive, but things are never positive earlier as well. If we see your life before corona, have you ever thought, or have you ever been to a phase which was always positive, or have you ever felt a time or a one particular week where you were always positive in your life? I'm sure most of us most of us will say no, that was not the case. So kindly try to relate that thing and this thing both together. You cannot be in a positive state or positive zone every point of time. This is a different time, of course, which is creating shocks, and we are absorbing that shock. That is a positive thing. So, instead of focusing on things which are hindering us, we should try to focus on things which are helping us. We should try to we should try to focus on opportunities which we are getting right now. As sir also previously said, there was a time where we as a family were never connected so well, which we are right now. There was time when, there was always a lack of time to pursue your hobbies. There was a lack of time to pursue what you wanted to do, but people are doing it right now. In spite of being, in the same situation, I have seen people coming up so well, like a person or a lady who was doing nothing. So who was working on in office 24 into 7, or she was working on her house, or with her family. Now she was able to get time to pursue her hobbies. Now she was able to get into her something which is very new to her, like online consultancy, or online any of the online business they are working upon. So we have to find opportunity with whatever is happening, whether be it corona or no corona, or lockdown or no lockdown. We have to be very positive. We have to make sure to get something which whatever is happening has positive feelings into it, or has some positive outcome out of it. We have to train our brain in such a way. So yeah, this is what I'll say, because negative and positive has always been a part of our life. This is nothing very new. The circumstances which we are obviously very new, because the lockdown and this disease is very new. But if we see in general, this negative and positive, and being into a positive zone or negative zone is not at all new. So try to focus on positive side rather than worrying about negative side, which is not in our hands.
So, thank you, Kanchan. And first of all, and please give some message to kids. They always watching Corona and death only, and the socio-economic strata, and that these types of people, they always focus to high Corona हो गया, हम बच नहीं पाएंगे. This is a very bad situation. This is havoc created in our society. I think media has a very, very important role in creating this havoc, because already the news is only for that, the corona and death and corona and death. So I want that please give some very good advice to our kids and our students, so that they understand this disease better. It is not about the death, and it's all about only a viral disease. So we have to come, please give some good and fruitful message to this also. This is my request to you personally, because
And
everybody is facing this.
yeah, I completely understand what you are saying, being a mother, because it's a very obvious situation where we are into right now. We being an adult, we might have faced something which is very severe and which is something very disturbing prior in our lives. But children these days are, for them, this is something very new. And this is where a role of a parent and a teacher comes. Like, you have to play extremely, extremely important role for your children to understand what this whole scenario is about. I have seen people, they just explore, or they just explore things, or they just try to hide things from their children, which is not very right. You have to educate your children about what exactly the situation is, what is like, what are the possibilities of people dying through corona, and who all are dying through corona. You have to teach them, whether it can be through your teachers as well. Like, it's not about uh, being a parent, you have to do that, that's for sure. But teachers are also doing their job in teaching their, educating children about the whole scenario, about this whole corona thing. And if we talk about social media and how to actually manage children in this whole thing, you have to play a very important role. Like, we as a family have to play a very, very important role. We have to make a schedule, not only of our own schedule, but you have to make a very prominent schedule for your children as well, where the time to expose, or where the time where they can actually get knowledge, or where they can get into this news and TV or the social media zone. You have to limit that, and if possible you have to be with them, so you can monitor whatever they are absorbing from these mediums, how valid they are or how true they are. And then you have to make them understand, like, if there is something which is disturbing them, be with them and try to solve it down then and there. Because children, they have a very they have a very good adaptability. They adapt very easily, rather than we being an adult. So we being an adult can do is, like, we have to be a medium, we have to be a bridge between what they are adapting and what they are getting out of it. So please try to be a bridge, try to make sure that what information they are getting is very, very useful to them. It's not limited about the positive or negative. You have to be very vocal about, okay, this is the thing, these are a negative effects, but at the same time, this is how we can overcome it. Like, you have to tell them negative and positive, pros and cons of a situation, rather than hiding anything, or rather than focusing on one thing which is very positive. That is going to create a very different impact, because that is like a half education which we are doing right now. So we being a parent, we being a teacher, we have to be very sure that whatever they are getting, whatever medium of information they have, it's very authentic. At the same time, it contains a whole information. There should not be only one-sided information which can hinder their mind, and which can actually create a very different, which can take them to a very different zone.
Question is coming from Dr. Ruby Chauhan.
Good evening, ma'am. Firstly, I'm very, it's a great honor to have you with us in the session, it's a great honor. Ma'am, my only query to you is that, you see a lot of people are suffering from anxiety disorder, and they are already in the anxiety. And when they, by watching the news and through this media, when they get some disturbing news, so it triggers the situation, it actually exaggerates the situation. So ma'am, please give your valuable suggestions on how all these people can deal with it, how they can cope with it. So please tell us.
Thank you so much, Ruby, for this awesome question. Because we always say, like, it is always said, we have to fight rather than getting into fear. So if you find a person who is already into that zone, or if you feel who is someone who is getting into that zone, so first thing what you would do would be, like, you have to be very alert. If you are alert, then you can create difference in a life of a person who is getting into that what we call as a negative zone or a dark phase. So, if you see a person, you have to be very careful about the behavior. So if the behavior, the changes in the behavior are too high, or if you feel that, the zone is getting into a very darker phase, you have to seek help from a professional person, first of all. If the situation is seriously very, very serious, because until and unless you won't get a professional help, things might deteriorate to a level where it will become a very difficult for a professional to, control it. So it's always say that if you seek a help at an initial level, it will give instant result, and it will save a person or save a situation from not deteriorating more. So please please be clear with that particular concept, that asking for help is not a big thing, and it's a very common thing, and it's a very required thing to seek help. So seeking help is not at all a taboo anymore. We have to be very alert about seeking a help. Second thing, if you feel that a person is not in that specific zone where a professional help is required, you try to be there for them. You try to help them. What you can do is, if you see a person in your family is not into a good zone, so you try to pull him out, you try to pull her out, because this is what we are doing these days. As a family, as a society, we are being there for everyone. It's not limited to my house or my family. If I see a person or a family is getting into a darker zone near to me, I would always try to keep a track of it, because ultimately it is going to impact me as well. So it's like, it's always said, no, kal tumhari aaj meri baari hai. So you please be ready with that concept. If tomorrow I am in the same situation, how people around me are going to react. So first of all, you create a group, you create a bunch of people, those who are ready to help, and those who are ready to figure out, or those who are ready to understand you. Second, if you are part of that committee where you can actually where you are available for your people nearby you, and for people in your society and all, then try to do certain things. Like, of course we can't go and meet them in person, but that doesn't stop us being giving our emotional support. Social distancing is allowed, but emotional distancing is always required. So try to be present emotionally, whether small gestures, like you can write a hand note to a person you feel is not in a good shape. That will help him to boost, because such small gestures are very much required. A small presence, a small ray in which you can make your presence actually does wonder. So if you write a text message, that won't impact much, rather than you writing a very small note, even with not a good handwriting, which will impact. So we have to create ways where we can show how we are ready to be how we are ready to be available for a person when it is required. You can try to connect socially with them. You can try to give them some you can try to spread some positive news, or some positive thing which is happening near to you. Try to alert them about the positivity which is nearby, how people are surviving, or how what wonderful people are doing, even during this current time. So try to spread positivity in their life. And then you can engage them into certain online activities as well. Like, there are many online activities, or very different organizations are organizing, where people are invited, and where they are invited to write their journal online and share it, what they are feeling. So these kind of activities, they help them to get out of that zone and understand exactly what is happening inside them. Because it is a very difficult zone where a people or a person get into. They themselves don't understand what is happening to them and what is triggering to them. So once they'll start speaking about it, once they'll start writing about it, definitely they'll be able to understand what is bothering them, or what is taking them to a zone which is not very good for them. So this would be like a self realization zone they'll come into, and then they will start helping their own self with the help of people like you.
So, ma'am, firstly, you're saying we have to pay attention towards those people, and secondly, we have to connect to them to their level, so that
Right.
we can give some positive energy to them.
That's very right.
So much. It's very, I think, very useful to a lot of people, those who are suffering from this. Very, I really appreciate your response. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Kanchan Rai, for being with us today. So, dear viewers, with today's session, we all learn that true health is to be found in having a positive attitude towards life and a strong self that refuses to be defeated anytime, anywhere. And we all have to be motivated and feel motivated ourselves, and others will follow us for the same. So let us motivate ourselves and keep on doing such efforts. And we'll see you tomorrow again and more influence to add to our good health. Thank you. And let's pay homage to our national anthem.